Good evening, everybody. I'm Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt. Tonight I have with me our police chief, Dave Beyle. He's also the emergency management director here in the city of Juneau, and Ed Weiss, who is our fire chief here in the city of Juneau. Tonight at about 6 o'clock, we had a cluster of storms roll through the Dodge County area that have brought about significant damage to our community here in Juneau, also in the city of Mayville. Also, we've had other damage around the county, power lines down, trees down, as you would expect in a typical storm. But here in Juneau and Mayville is really where we have the priority response as a result of significant damage. I say significant damage, we can all assume that could have been a tornado. However, we don't make those decisions. That's for the National Weather Service to determine if it was, in fact, a tornado. So we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about significant weather damage here today. First and foremost, I'm happy to report that at this point we really have had very little in the way of injury. We've had one person that was transported to the hospital for some injuries here in the city of Juneau. I believe there may have been another minor injury or two that have occurred, but have not heard of any other reports in either city, which is a fantastic thing when you consider the severity of some of the damage that we have seen. We are stressing to everybody to please avoid the city of Mayville and the city of Juneau if you don't live there or have other direct business such as work. We're trying to get things cleaned up, and the more people, the more vehicles that we have, the harder it is for all of us to do the job that we need to do to effectively respond. In that response, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to the citizens that reported things, but we all know that the citizens that report them have to call somewhere, right? Our dispatchers. And our dispatchers did an absolutely phenomenal job handling the overload of phone calls that we received in our dispatch center and getting that information out quickly. I also, during National Police Week, want to thank the overwhelming response that we had from our local law enforcement and fire personnel, EMS responding to this. Even the utilities workers were on the spot quickly getting out there to help make a dangerous situation less dangerous. It was truly impressive to see the work. As soon as I got to Juneau, I ordered all of our staff in immediately to help take care of this, and the response to the situation has made this less painful than it could have been. And so at this point we are stable. We have a lot of work to do, but I think we are stable at this point, only a couple short hours after the incident took place. And that's all good news, but again, there's going to be a lot of work that takes place through the overnight hours. We have a lot of power out here in Juneau, around Juneau. We have people who are without homes. And there are 2 shelters set up for those who have been displaced by the storms. The first location here in Juneau, Dodgeland Schools, has opened up their building for us. To be able to have a shelter for those individuals that lost their roofs and things like that and have nowhere to go. In the city of Mayville, the TAG Center has also opened up their doors for anybody who needs assistance there, whether that be shelter in both locations, shelter or medical needs or other needs. I know the Red Cross is responding. Our own Dodge County Health and Human Services and Public Health are responding and assisting as well. So those are the basics of what we have here tonight for you from the Sheriff's Office perspective, but I want to give Chief Beyle and Chief Weiss an opportunity to share their perspective. Chief Beyle.
Hi, Dave Beyle, Juneau Police Chief and Emergency Management Director. As the Sheriff stated earlier, the damage is significant to the city of Juneau. We have properties damaged, power lines down. Our main transformer feeder system for the electric was affected by this, and we got crews working on restoring that. We're projecting power could be out for up to 1 to 2 days. Many power poles will have to be replaced because the tops of them were snapped off. I can't stress enough the mutual aid response that we received from our neighbors. Even before the sheriff or I started calling for any assistance, they were offering it and on their way to come over. Pretty much Like the sheriff said, we only had some minor injuries, but people will definitely be without power, and we encourage them to take advantage of the shelter at Dodgeland School at 401 Southwestern Avenue here in Juneau.
Hi, Eddie Weiss, Juneau Fire Chief. I'd like to say our response, we had our aid with Horicon and Burnett. They come over right away, and once we got our city stabilized, we released them so they go back to their communities to help out. And our mutual aid box alarm system, which is countywide, and Mayville used it, and it seemed to work really well. So everyone had resources, so yeah, we're very lucky. So there's significant damage in Juneau, but we'll be, like Dave said, we'll be out of power probably almost 2 days. So that's.
We have time for a few questions, so if you have anything, now'll be the time.
Sheriff, what can you say with regards to the extent of the damage? Do you have a number of how many homes, of the where in the community is the damage worse, and what are we talking about in terms of the types of damage you're seeing?
It's a great question. So here in the city of Juneau, we have damage really on the north half of the city of Juneau. There are a number of homes. We haven't been able to count them all. One of the first directives I gave to my staff is I wanted to make sure that we checked on the residents in those homes. So I sent them door to door to make sure that we did that. We didn't count the houses, but that was our priority at that point. In the city of Mayville, their damage seems to be mostly in the southern area, the southern half of their city, really focused around Gleason Reel, Mayville Engineering, MEC, those areas of the city. That's primarily the damage. We've got some county buildings here in the city of Juneau as well that have received some damage. So mostly, like I said, north half of Juneau, south portion of Mayville. As we get more information, we'll certainly be able to get that out to you, but that's all we have right now.
We spoke with a man who says his neighbor was trapped under a roof. Is that the person who was transported for injuries to the hospital? Can you elaborate anything?
I can say that there was a roof that caved in, and I believe it's Horicon Fire arrived on scene with me. We went in and we were able to get them out relatively quickly. Very minor injuries, so it wasn't anything serious, but I believe that's the same one that you're talking about. Other questions?
Does there seem to be a consistent line of damage? Is there a path of damage that you've kind of been able to track?
The path of damage really seems to be on the north side of Juneau, really from the southwest to the northeast, and the same type of thing. It really is one line, really starting just outside of Juneau on the west side, all the way up to Mayville. I haven't been up to Mayville. We've got other staff that have been up there, so I don't know what that looks like. But it doesn't seem like it's one straight path because Horicon was missed, and we haven't had a lot of damage between here and there. So it does seem like the damage happened here, and then there's separate damage there. Whether it was the same, whatever it was, could be, but that's for the Weather Service to figure out. Other questions? Yes, sir.
How are people feeling? Are they scared? Were they scared?
Oh, absolutely. This was a scary sight. This was a rain-wrapped tornado. I was coming towards Juneau at the time. I could not see it, and certainly very frightening for me trying to approach, let alone the people that are in their homes. So certainly frightening when you have this kind of severity of weather and this severity of the damage. Certainly power lines and things down. Certainly very, very traumatic for a lot of people. But we have people that are helping them through that. Yes, sir.
What does it mean to you seeing neighbors helping other neighbors in a time of need like this?
That's Dodge County. That's what we do here. And that's why I'm proud to be sheriff here, because that's what our community does. We pull together and help each other out and put our own personal differences aside. It's an amazing community we have here in Dodge County, in Juneau and Mayville, and it's very neat to see. All right, one more question.
Just observing the damage, it seems like a miracle that there weren't any fatalities or major injuries. Do you feel lucky in a way that it ended the way it did?
Blessed. We're blessed. We had somebody looking over us from on high here tonight, and while there's a lot of damage, we're blessed at this point that we haven't discovered anything serious. Things can be replaced. People can't, and thankfully the injuries were minor. So I thank you all for coming tonight. We really do appreciate your discretion amongst the citizens in the community as they try to rebuild. Again, I will please stress, please avoid Juneau and Mayville tonight so we can get things picked up. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.